can you bump up the audio? 1, 2, 3. It's one testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Better.
1, 2, 3.
Better.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
I expected you a lot closer.
Check 1, 2, 3. That sound better?
That sounds better.
Okay.
That sounds better. Okay. So now we've got a little chat here thing going. And we've got the YouTube live, and we've got the Facebook's live, and we've got you live, and we've got Ken. Ken needs to come out here and assist me. It's not fair you guys get to hang out together all the time and have fun. Gee whiz.
Can you hear? Oh, you can't hear Tom?
I can't hear Tom.
Well, then now's the time, if he can't hear me, for me to say all sorts of terrible, nasty things about him. I tell you what, that Ken Benedict, gee whiz.
Don't want to go too loud on that.
Okay.
I got a splitter, Ken. Did you want me to split it? Okay.
All right, folks, hang on. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay. Almost.
All right. All right. That'll do it.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
All right.
You got it, Ken? All right.
I like it.
I hear clicking, but it's probably your laptop.
I don't hear the
Yeah,
clicking.
It's the fan on the laptop.
I don't hear the clicking,
Good.
so we're good.
Can you hear Ken too in the background?
Yes. So
Yep.
Ken better not say anything bad about us, because we can hear it. Everybody, thousands of people all across the world. All right.
Both of them.
But yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. Let me get on position, in position, and we will get this show on the road, as it were. And you and I have had zero prep, so we're just it's gonna be the epitome of winging it. You okay with that?
It's like every gig.
You never know when the tower next door is going to collapse on top of you. I get it. Yeah. All right. Let me.
Or if ATV rolls over your network or fiber cable.
Ooh, yeah. Don't forget now that wherever the camera is where you have to look. Because if you look at me,
Okay.
you won't be making eye contact with the folks. All right, so let me get into position, and we'll get this ball rolling. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. Okay. Why does that thing have audio in it? Huh. Well, we just won't turn it on. Yeah, that one works. Okay.
I can hear my stomach.
Ah, there we go. Thought I'd give you guys the bird's eye shot to get started with today. And with no further ado, because we have had way much ado today. Remember, if you're doing a show, to always pull down your shirt in the back and sit on it, and that'll give you a nice smooth stomach, and that way your six-pack shows up. That's what we want, is that six-pack. We're all going for that six-pack, or in my case, it's a one-pack, but that's all right. Okay. We're going to mute Rich, and we're going to get started here. You ready? Let's go. Hey, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and this is Streaming Idiots. That's right. You have come to the end. You have watched everything available on the internet now. This is the last one. There's nothing more after this. There's nowhere else to go after you go to a Streaming Idiot show. I'm teasing, of course. So excited about my special guest today, Rich Ignacio, and we're going to get to Rich in just a second. But first, a quick story. And this story is this everything that could possibly have gone wrong today? Okay, here's number one. Okay, so I loaned my main studio camera, my lovely PTZ Optics 12X PTZ camera. I loaned it out to somebody who wanted to try out and see how, and I thought, okay, that's fine. I'll use my AIDA, ultra high definition UHD 100. With a lens that I stole off of my other PTZ camera, the the Z-Cam. And I thought, okay, well, I'll use that, and that'll be great. And then I realized, oh, well, I have to plug that into my second PC, and I had cannibalized that for a rental that got shipped out Friday. I had to take the video card out of it. And I said, oh, well, how important can a video card be, you know? But I forgot it's an i3 with a GTX 970. So here I am, firing this sucker up without a video card in it, fire up vMix, and this i3, it did the best it possibly could, but it got up to 83% on idle, and I said, that's not going to work. Well, I'll just use my laptop that I use for the church, but I planned on going out of town this weekend. I'd already taken the laptop to the guy that was going to do the live stream for me, and it's pouring down rain here, so I said, okay, well, I'll have to go get the laptop. So I go get the laptop in the pouring down rain and bring it back and plug it up, and I realized, oh golly, I got to get all the stuff off of one PC onto another PC, and here's where things started working right. And if this is too fast for you, just go back and watch it again. So in my streaming PC, remember here in my setup, I'm working with two PCs because they're all grossly underpowered. The guy that builds PCs for a living doesn't get to use the good stuff, which is probably good because it makes me really conservative in how I build them. And I want to make sure there's lots of headroom for you when I build them. But for me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to tie all my tips and tricks. So my main PC is an old i7 second generation, i7 2600. They're up to the 9th generation now. And my second PC, the streaming PC, is an i3. An eighth generation, 8350, I think. It's a quad-core i3. Go figure. Anyway, so it works great with the graphics card, the 970, GTX 970. It hums along at about 10% CPU, and whatever the GPU is, I haven't really paid much attention. But when you take that GTX card out, and you try to run it on just the embedded graphics, and it zoomed up to 83%. It was a non-starter, but it had all of my vMix stuff on it. Well, fortunately, all my stuff, all the graphics, all everything, I put in a Dropbox, and all my PCs have a link to the same Dropbox. Yeah, it takes a while to download everything to begin with, but then after a while, you've got everything there, and so you're just a matter of keeping up to date. So I know when I start a PC, it may update from something else that got put on it from another PC into the Dropbox. So there I am, and I know all my assets, all my inputs and graphics and things like that are in Dropbox. So I need to export, number one, I need to export all my settings out of vMix. And so you go to Settings, you go to Export, and I exported it to, that's right, to my Dropbox. And then I saved my preset, my vMix preset to my Dropbox. And then in the laptop, I went and opened vMix. Of course, I had to update because I wasn't in the latest version 22. By the way, version 22 I think is up to 442 if you're paying attention to that. So I updated to 42 just so I was speaking apples and apples, not apples and oranges, because my main PC had 38. So I updated vMix and I imported the configuration file. I loaded the presets. I identified the location on that PC where all those assets were in the Dropbox. And presto chainsaw, I was back in business in like 5 minutes. The only other change I had to make is on my production PC. I've got 6 different scripts that are fired off by keys on my X key here, which, as you can see, I'm only using about half of it, but that's okay. I've got plans for the rest of it. So I rechanged the scripts. Basically, I just told the scripts, hey, don't go to that IP address because that PC's not working right. Go to this IP address, which was the laptop. And I made sure that the laptop wasn't plugged in. Well, it started out, it wanted to go Wi-Fi. And I said, no, Wi-Fi is not going to work. We're going to have to do hardwired. So I disabled the Wi-Fi. But it's got a cool feature in Windows 10 where I could just disable it for a day and then it would turn itself back on. So that's cool. So my friend that's going to live stream for me on Sunday morning, yes, we're using Wi-Fi for live streaming. Don't ask. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, suffice to say, I come in. Oh yeah, and now I have to hook up my 4K Ada 4K camera. Fortunately, I had the Uon HDMI 4K dongle here, and so plugged it into the camera, fired right up. Didn't need a driver. The color's not the best. I have to work on the color a little bit, but it's hard to work on the color when you're sitting here and the controls are over there. Yeah, I need Ken Benedict to pop into my studio for a day. I mean, when you look at Rich's colors, you'll see how good Rich looks. All right, so enough of that. Really super quick. Remember, this whole show is an infomercial for my company, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. I'm not going to do the long infomercial today because we're so late and get started. But I will tell you, if you're tired of messing around with a PC from a big box store, or one that you built that's not working right, or one that somebody else built for you, or maybe you're just dealing with your grandmother's laptop, and it's time for a streaming PC, a real streaming PC, shoot me a note. Go to easternshorebroadcasting.com, go to the contact page, and we'll do it. We've got a 4K build that we're working on for PTZ Optics right now. We've got a Ruby build that we're working on for the church giveaway for March, for Easter, and we've got 2 others that are about to get started. So, but we've got room for yours. Don't worry about that. And we're just finishing up our school studio. Fortunately, we got that big bad boy off the bench and over to the school. So that's the infomercial. So let's get around to our guest, who has waited so very patiently in the green room. So let me tell you a little bit about this guy, and then I'm going to introduce him to you. What would you think if you wanted to go live streaming and you wanted to climb into dangerous places and go where there's lots of salt and sand and spray? What kind of person would do that? Well, the ideal mix of person would be somebody with number one, superior intellect. Well, cross that one off the list because he didn't make it on that one. No, I'm teasing. But it would be nice if they were like an Army Ranger and could climb and could handle all sorts of amazingly tough situations. Maybe they had a background with a Fortune 500 company that you would name because there are 3 letters that you're familiar with in IP. Maybe they're a former professional jet ski racer and they know all the ins and outs of that. Yes, that's exactly what it took to be able to pull this off. Our friend Rich Ignacio has been live streaming jet ski racing literally all over the world for like the last 50 years. And Rich, welcome to the show. I've lied about you, so now you're gonna have to tune in and tell me what the real story is. Where was I? What did I say that was wrong? Come on, correct me. Oh, I turned your audio
Thinking
off.
just
Let's try
about
again.
the west coast of the United States. What?
I'm sorry, start again. I had your audio off.
Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay. Is that okay?
Yes, perfect. Awesome.
All right. So, thanks for having me on the show, Tom.
Well, you're welcome. How could I not have you on the show? You were on my 2018 Live Streamer of the Year. Holy cow! I mean, you've done it all, man. You're live streaming with major networks. You're working for a Fortune 500 company, although that's not who you're streaming for. You've got your own streaming company, live streaming 24/7. You're working for Pro Watercross. You're live streaming out of 20-foot towers built on the beach with a sand foundation. We know that's not even scriptural. You don't build a house on sand. I mean, gee whiz, you're the man. How did all this happen? Where did it begin?
I was bored. I was just bored.
So jumping out of planes and running jet skis wasn't exciting enough for you?
No, I started racing about 15 years ago, and in between the races, there'd be a long pause between each of the classes. And back in 2009, Ustream had a web interface where you can just log on to their website and use their webcam and microphone on a local laptop and broadcast to Ustream.
Right, I remember
signed
that.
up for the trial, picked up my little mini laptop. There's those tiny laptops where you buy at Costco.
Yep.
And turned I basically logged into Ustream, got the camera and microphone working on the laptop, got the laptop and started pointing it to the water and broadcasting it that way. Oh, by the way, I hijacked a Starbucks Wi-Fi to get the internet access.
I love it. I love it. And that's when you said to yourself, yeah, this is a thing. Yep.
Yeah.
I got it. So, what was the first piece of gear that you bought that was specific to live streaming?
First piece of gear was a new laptop. I think it was an i3 back then, and a standard capture card going through USB. And I used an old Sony camcorder with a composite out.
Yeah. And what'd you do for audio? Just out of the camera?
Actually, the audio came from the line in from my laptop, and I just connected a microphone to the line in or to the microphone input.
Yep. All right, so let's flash forward to today. Tell us about your setup today.
Right now, I have an i7 laptop in a case, which I travel around the country with, along with a duffel bag, about 32, 36-inch duffel bag that has all my gear. So between the laptop case, my duffel bag, and another case that I have for my clothes, that's all my gear.
So what is in this duffel bag? That's what I want to know. I mean, can you share those kinds of secrets? Oh, no.
No. Yeah. So I have the laptop running vMix, and the laptop in the case contains the 2-channel Behringer mixer. I have a manual 4-port SDI in a PCIe enclosed case. The case is custom made, so all the ports are in the back, including a power strip, SDI ports, audio in, Ethernet jack, and line in.
Sweet. And so all that gets toted 20 feet up in the air, 30 feet up in the air to the top of a rickety old scaffolding tower to look out over the water.
Yep. The duffel bag is right at 50 pounds because I don't want to pay the extra airline fees.
And so how far do you travel?
About 50 to 60,000 miles a year. Usual season for me would be traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast for the weekend and then back.
Wow. And so do you go to Canada and Mexico, or do you leave the continent?
Mexico once. I've been asked to do Australia and Thailand also.
Awesome. Awesome. Are you going to go?
Oh, if I get a chance, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I went to Thailand
just,
last year, and it was
difficult for the
a
Thailand.
ball. Oh, yeah. Thailand is, it's a 24-hour flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Australia,
So
too.
for me, I would leave like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then would be back on Monday, and half of that would just be the flight time, and in between, just working the gig.
Oh, man. You'd be a zombie by the time you got back, but it would be worth it. It would be worth it.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we went to Thailand. It was quite a trip, quite an adventure. Yeah. So other than Thailand and Australia, what else? Now, all of this is because you have a sponsor.
Yes. So Pro Watercross started out about 5 years ago with me. They reached out and said, hey, do we need a live stream person? And back then, nobody really knew what a live stream was, the technology, the process, the people. And I was just an ex-racer, as you heard. And one of the other racers said, hey, there's this guy out in California that can broadcast. Pro Watercross was in New York. They called me up, asked if I can come over do one of the races, and it was a hit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And right in that is the formula for getting sponsors and for monetizing your live stream, which is you have to do it in, you don't have to, but you do it in an area, a field that you are really well versed in. You admit, how long had you been jet ski racing by the time you did your first live stream? A year? 2 years? 10 years?
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years, yeah. Yeah. And did you have family in it too?
No, just a lot of friends. My family didn't realize what I was doing. They thought I was just riding jet skis. Didn't realize I was riding jet skis at 60, 70 miles an hour, about an inch away from the other person during the turns.
Oh, man. And 70 miles an hour on a jet ski is like twice that fast in a car. It's jeez. Yeah, with no
They're up to
airbag.
90 now.
Up to 90. Holy cow. So you're well versed in the industry. You have a passion for the live streaming, and your name circulated, and the sponsor came to you. I love that part. I love that part.
Yep. One of the things that went viral is a broadcast in 2016, and this was broadcasting the flyboard competition out in Naples, Florida.
I remember that.
And one of the features was flyboard air. The flyboard itself is a water-propelled board device,
Right.
coming from the jet ski. The
Right.
flyboard air is self-propelled with jets underneath. And back then, there was not too many videos about it. And he was the primary sponsor for the event, so he came and flew his flyboard air in front of the crowd, and also the live stream.
And you had like hundreds of thousands of views on that. It went viral, didn't it?
So the statistics that weekend was 3 million,
Holy cow.
just that weekend.
Holy cow. What did you think when that happened?
Just broadcast as normal. When I hit my first 500,000, I think about a year before, that's when I was freaking out. And what do I
Okay.
do? I was seeing the counters come up, and there's like 600,000 people that has viewed the broadcast. That's when I got nervous, but that was already, I was seasoned by the time the flyboard air came through.
So 3 million, no problem, happens all the time, old school stuff. Yeah, I get it. So that was 2016. What was there a long-term benefit on that to today?
Not well. The competition continues, but
Right.
we don't have that flyboard air person coming. He sold his device to the U.S. government and is limited to how he can broadcast a device now.
Wow. So you could be spirited off to an undisclosed location if you live streamed it too many times. I get it. Oh, wow.
Well, the first time I was broadcasting it, we got a call from his lawyers to shut it down because it wasn't approved.
Oh my goodness. That's what happens when you get above the radar. You know, when you start doing things that lots and lots of people see. That's why you want to say stay small.
Oh, by the way, so I took your stance on one person, one computer. So
Yeah.
all this has been on one person and one computer.
Yeah. One man, one PC, one awesome broadcast. That's right. You know, it still can be done, despite the fact that you've got Ken there assisting you today. You can do a great broadcast with one person, and you obviously you have staked your reputation on that. Now you're working. Sometimes you work with CBS Sports on the live streams. Tell us about that.
So there's a CBS sub-K that comes along for our World Championship and events. So they come in with the big rig or the trailer, and they set up their $100,000 cameras, all their fiber links, and they have a 4, 5, or 6 camera shoot with a full production rig. We set it up with them, so I take the SDI feed and I broadcast it live while they record and do post for a later broadcast.
Gotcha. That's cool. So you get all their cameras. Now, are they switching it live, or or is it just one camera that you're bringing in?
It's the whole production feed that I come in, the whole program out from what they see.
Wow. So they're switching it live. They're just recording it. Gotcha. That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool. Now, oh golly, there was a thought right on the front of my head, and can you see? Is it still there? Still there? There was a thought right there, that you were doing something else. Oh golly, it'll come to me. So what else you got planned? You got some new shows in mind, or is this the gig that you like?
So I'm getting into football, baseball, softball, motocross, power sports events, surfing also. So a lot of just anything basically that I can go out there and broadcast.
That's cool. I remember with the thought, there's some video in some of your live streams that looks like it's taken from a drone. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I don't know if you have that, but for one of my gigs, we have a jet ski surfing competition, and that jet ski surfing competition basically is a combination of jet skis and surfers, and the jet skiers go into the ocean and ride the waves and do their backflips, and as part of that competition, I have a friend who has a drone. And luckily, his drone is a DJI with an HDMI out. So I was able to incorporate that into my live stream. So he flew the drone, I connected the HDMI out to his DJI setup, and broadcasted it out to the world. I think Tom's trying to find that video. So the broadcast went out approximately half a mile to a mile out.
I was going to try to get that up, but I couldn't.
I don't have it on.
Couldn't get it quick enough. My bad. Sorry. All my machinations this morning in trying to get on the air, and I was not prepared with the video that you sent of that. But we'll tag it. in the various archives of this so that folks can see it. It's pretty outstanding. So is the drone something that you'll use some more? You think maybe with the surfboard live streams and the motocross? I mean, it seemed like it would fit pretty well there.
It's a great tool if you have a good drone pilot. If it's a bad drone pilot, all you see is the sky. If you try to incorporate live stream into your broadcast, make sure you talk to the guy, get some expectations of what to see. Just don't tell him to follow the action. Tell him that, don't move the camera too fast. Don't point to the camera to the sky all the time. Basic stuff.
So there really is an art form to not just flying the drone, but to actually manipulating the camera as well. That's cool.
Correct.
So
and I would not be able to do it broadcasting and flying a drone. I tried that. It doesn't work. Manning the production.
Right. Too many hands needed. Yeah. You can only split your attention so many different ways. Well, tell me about the mechanics of getting the drone video into your production.
It's really quite simple. So DJI has HDMI output on their remote control, and the model that I believe the Phantom 3s, if you have DJI Phantom 3 Professional or I forgot the model, 4K or Professional, it has an HDMI out feature. The high-priced DJI ones, Inspire, already has HDMI out as well, so you can tap into that feed into the transmitter and tie it into your production.
Oh, that's cool. So there's just a cable and a converter if you're on a laptop. Got it.
Yep.
So what does one of those babies run? I mean, if you and I are going to go out and buy one together, and I'm going to be your pilot, what are we going to spend?
You can get one on Craigslist or buy it used for like $350, $450, but it has to be a special DJI model which has an HDMI out. The brand new ones can range from $750 to up to $3,500.
Okay. All right. So $1,000 and I'm in pretty good shape for. I guess the higher ones are going to be. Yeah.
Well, I fly drones just as a hobby, but
Okay.
if you flew a drone to broadcast, I'd be kind of cautious. There's like people and things around that you can hit. I've actually flew a drone which almost hit the high power tension lines during a race.
Ooh. Ouch. Yeah. Well, but it was just a drone, and it could have been anybody's drone. It wasn't necessarily your drone. So, yeah, I get that.
Well, could have killed a section of Northern California power.
Yeah, that's right. That's when you move to Thailand. Yeah, I get it. So, so how long can one of these drones stay up in the air?
I believe about 12 to 15 minutes, depending on how the conditions are.
Okay, so if you've got a series of, 10 races during the course of the day, do you have 10 batteries and you're just swapping out batteries for each race?
Yes.
Gotcha. And do you have to have any kind of certification or licensure to be a drone pilot?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Again, I don't fly the drones anymore after that high power
Gotcha.
tension line the incident. I have a colleague or hire out some other guy.
Gotcha. Somebody else to take the liability for it. I get it. That is cool, though. I mean, and that's so. It would give a live stream such an awesome look to be able to have that overhead view of, whether it's jet ski racing or motocross or, virtually any sport that happens outdoors in a large area. And I'm not talking about like football or soccer or baseball, because you could probably get into a lot of trouble flying a drone over a stadium filled with people. But motocross and surfing and things like that would probably be more forgiving. That's really cool. That's really cool. So what are you going to do during 2019 to earn the 2019 Live Streamer of the Year award?
I got a few things I'm creating. I don't want to say it now. There's a few things. So as with any hobby, some of the stuff you look for online, you can't buy it. You have to create it. So
right.
I've created my own SDI converter kits, my own helmet cams feeding back to the broadcast.
Oh yeah,
a few other items.
I saw that. So you've got a live helmet cam feed coming back. That is awesome. Yeah. Just gee whiz.
And it cost $2,000. It wasn't an HDMI feed. Basically, I had an old drone camera, which I enclosed into a GoPro waterproof case, and the drone camera fed back to a receiver for SD composite, and then I converted that composite to something I could input to my broadcast.
Awesome. What's the range on one of those drone cameras for a live shot?
I hit about 200 feet.
Okay. And then it just goes snowy or something, huh?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's analog, so you will get snowy signal when it goes out of range.
Right. Very cool.
But it cost me $50.
You're a bargain hunter. You're a bargain shopper, and that's what you have to do when it's sort of a professional hobby. You're getting paid for it, but you're not getting paid, 2 commas type money. That's you make it all up. You build it yourself. I love it. That's American ingenuity. Well, Rich, you're a prince. I think we're going to wrap up the show part of the show and go to the post show, and maybe we can get folks that want to ask some questions of you in the post show. Can you hang around for a few minutes?
Sure. I can actually download some of the files, so in the post show I can show you those drone videos.
Awesome. When you say download, you mean display them on your end, and I'll live stream them on my end.
Yeah. On my current computer that I'm broadcasting it on, it's not loaded. I have to copy it from another computer or Dropbox.
Go for it. All right. So we're gonna let you do that, and we'll say goodbye to Rich for now, but we'll have him back in just a second. So while Rich goes and downloads that, which I was supposed to do, but then I had to play PC bingo here. Or what is it? Musical chairs with PCs. But I want to thank you so much for tuning in today, and I apologize for the problems with the chat. We had some unexpected. Isn't that always the case? If it was expected, you would have fixed it in advance. It's the unexpected stuff that sometimes catches you. So stick around for the post show. If you're just joining us, you're thinking, what in the world is going on? Well, this is Streaming Idiots. This is the place where you go to find out about live streaming and what not to do in live streaming. So if you want more information on us, go over here to easternshorebroadcasting.com. If you're interested in any sorts of gear, we've got tons of gear in our store, and we design and build PCs for live streaming. So we'd be happy to talk with you about that. So stick around if you're watching live, or even if you're watching after the fact. And we'll be right back with the post show. All right. So this one-man gig thing is, it's a lot more to it. the more you try to do. And let's bring Rich back in and turn him back on. There we go. And Rich has got some video to share with us. That's going to be cool. Rich, my apologies. You had all sorts of great stuff that you sent me that I looked through and was going to get straight this morning. And my time this morning was spent jury rigging. But I guess you know a little bit about that too.
Oh, yeah.
At one point, you had a really
copy.
cool camera stand that had like 2 or 3 cameras on it, kind of like a T-bar. Do you still use something like that?
Not much. I got a club broadcast that I do, and that comes in handy. For outdoor events, I just need regular tripods.
Gotcha.
But it's just basically a T-bar, like you said, and I put camera mounts on there. Actually, I got the idea from Ken.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Stealing ideas again. I get it. All right. Anybody in chat? Now, remember today, chat, we have switched over temporarily to the YouTube chat. And if you're watching us on the Eastern Shore Broadcasting feed, the YouTube chat should be right down there. If you're watching us in YouTube, it's going to be right over there. And if you're watching on Facebook, you have to go to YouTube or Eastern Shore Broadcasting to get in on the chat. So if you've got some questions for Rich about jet ski racing or outdoor streaming or drones or flyboards or all sorts of other cool stuff, he is the guy to ask, and now is the time to ask him. They're saying in the chat that a commercial use of drone does require a license in the U.S., and that the simple guy is from Barbados, and that you can't even import a drone into Barbados without first obtaining a license. That's pretty interesting.
I have that drone shot if you want to see it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's see if this will work.
Scacinoci and Darren Anderson.
Oops.
We heard it. We're getting close.
Scacinoci working so hard to get into that final. Having to go against Bruno Jacob to do it. And then his next draw was Abraham Hostrasser.
Wow. That is too cool.
Get back to the vMix call. I lost it.
It's there somewhere.
Oops. Oops.
Well, that's not it. There it is. All right. That is awesome. That is so cool. And so you've got about 20 minutes worth of battery, and then you've got to come in for a soft landing. You're okay with it? Yeah, you're okay with the black background. You're okay with the black background.
Okay. So did that come through?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was great. That was great.
Had another one with a helmet cam.
I saw that one too.
Here's
you want to fire that one up?
I don't Seinfeld know what you're talking about.
Oh, you are such a silly man.
You are the silly man. Here we go. Pro-Am Runabout GP. You sound too quiet for GP.
Well, it's going to be an interesting race to say the least. Here goes Dykowski and Hightower leaving last. And
Whoa.
Hightower had a hard time getting the fire lit there, getting that lanyard in. Dykowski took right off, but we know that Hightower's got probably the fastest boat out here.
Wow, look at this.
Look at those two go after it. Oh, my goodness.
Dykowski ski, not slow at all.
It's
Here
going to
we
be
go.
Dylan Osborne. Dylan Osborne is going to take the lead early on.
Oh, man.
That's the helmet cam.
Oh, man. That is so cool. You have got to bring that to market. And there it is. How does it mount? Suction cups.
It's a GoPro mount. So most athletes have that GoPro mount on their helmet or on their device, like a motorcycle or jet skis or surfboards. And as you can see in the bottom of the unit, it's got the mount points already for it.
Right, we'll switch back to that shot. You can see the mount points. And the antenna, is that something you created? That's cool.
No, that's a usual drone antenna they use for broadcast.
Okay. All right. Oh man, that's neat. That is so cool. So you need to bring something like that to market.
Case. This is the custom case that I created.
And so you built the back plate.
Nope. Did I mute you again?
Yeah, you muted me.
I lost.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, Tom. I think I lost the vMix VK.
You don't do that to your host. You don't do that to the host. You don't mute the host's audio. It just doesn't work. Testing 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you now.
Okay, there we go. So that's a custom back plate, and basically that connects internally to all your other devices. So the 4 SDI ports that I see in the top left corner, they actually have cables on the other side of them going to an SDI card of some kind. And then the XLR ports. Card. Yeah, okay. And the XLR ports will go to the mixer.
Yes, and then, XLR in and XLR out.
Oh, okay. And then the trip light right below it, that's something different, right?
This is a power PDU strip.
Gotcha.
It's got power connections on the outside and on the inside.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Facing the other way.
All right, so Kenny is asking, Rich, what do you do for audio for mic placement for your productions? And how many mics are you using, and where are you putting them, and who's talking into them?
So I have about 1 or 2 ambient sound mics. I put them on top of the podium, and let me show you the picture of the podium here. So can you see that?
Yes, we got it.
So on the other side is facing the race course, and I put 1 or 2 ambient mics and tie them in to the mixer.
Okay, that's cool. So they're basically picking up jet ski noise, crowd noise, all the kinds of things that make you feel like you're there.
Yes.
And then, are you pulling an audio feed from the, what we would call the house audio? I guess it's the outdoor announcer for the venue. Are you pulling that in, or is that just part of the ambient?
So for this one is the front side view. I have the case and then the PA amp and mixer to the right of me. Yep. And I pull in the house audio. And the house audio has music playing, so I do a mix minus with the announcers and the music. Gotcha.
That's cool. And all that fits in your duffel bag.
Yeah.
And you must wrap the tar out of it in foam to make it travel.
Yes. And
that's cool.
Let me see. And then when it rains, I wrap the tar out of it in plastic.
Yep. But it hardly ever rains, like in Florida.
In Florida?
Yeah, I get it. Gee whiz. That is too cool.
Let me do another broadcast here for the one that got the 3 million.
Finally, for the first time in the United States, the Flyboard Air.
Now is the time, so I'm so proud to be here and to demonstrate the potential of the Flyboard Air. But there will be no problems of bringing.
watching this presentation of the 2016 Flyboard World Cup Championship. On behalf of Mackenzie Thurkill,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Gee whiz. Gee whiz. And he sold out to the government.
Yeah. And for the folks wondering if that case will fit over an overhead airplane compartment, there's the proof.
There it is. There it is.
Here's the gear that I travel with.
Yep.
I have one tripod, and I have 2 or 3 monopods encased in the duffel bag.
Uh-huh. That must be a challenge. Gee whiz. I mean, that would just be brutal. Every time you go out of town to pack all that stuff and haul it, and then you've got to haul it down to the beach. Oh, man.
And then here's one that I have. So I've incorporated an RTSP camera, and this shot is taken from about 300 feet away from me. This is a still shot, but it was actually a live shot. I don't have a video of it, but it was about 300 feet, and I was able to capture the judges on top of this scissor lift.
Wow. Oh, man. That's a great shot.
And then the other one I'm kind of known for is getting internet from nowhere. I don't know if you could see this real well.
Not really. What's the distance?
So it's about 1 kilometer.
Okay.
And because this is such a secluded area, there was no cell signal at all, so you couldn't get any, cell internet.
Right.
So we went down the beach and knocked on different houses to see if we can borrow their cable modem. And I had a point-to-point bridge, and we finally found a house that said, "Yeah, sure, you can borrow my internet." So we hooked up a connection from their cable modem out to their backyard, and then pointed the point-to-point bridge back to the event site where I was, about a kilometer.
Oh, man. That is awesome. Too cool. But until you got hooked up, you were just high and dry. There's nothing like some motivation there.
Yeah, they wanted me to just record it, and I go, "No, I don't want to record it. Let's see what we can do."
Yeah.
So I knew that their cable modem runs down to the beach house, so I said, let's just ask people down to the beach. We can jack into their internet.
Awesome. Awesome. Jan wants to know if we wouldn't mind starting over at the very beginning. Now you folks are beginning to understand why I picked as Rich as the 2018 live streamer of the year, because he's got ingenuity just oozing from every pore. I mean, he has to take wet wipes and wipe himself down to do something with all that ingenuity, and it's a little on the gross side, but
Well, what you see here is a little SDI converter. It converts my HDMI to SDI, and I packaged it up nice and neat. And how I feed it is through an SDI combo cable. And let me show you that if I have that.
Right. Kind of a Siamese cable that's got power and
the Siamese cable.
Right.
Power and BNC. So I have one cable going to my cameras, which supply power and video feed.
Ah, awesome. And the little pack you showed us just a second ago kind of looked like a backpack, but really it's only the size of a fanny pack, right? A little side pouch for your belt.
And this is what's inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you can see, there's a Blackmagic HDMI to SDI converter.
Right.
I have a car cigarette lighter unit, and then I convert the 12 volts to USB with a car adapter, 12 volt to USB adapter.
Awesome, baby. Awesome.
And
I love it.
here is my manual 4-port SDI card. This is after about 2 years in the salt and sand.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see that well in the video, but it's rusted through.
It's rusted all the way through. Oh, I saw surface rust. I didn't realize it was rusted. Oh, man.
There was rust on the solder. Oh, inside part.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, they probably said that might void your warranty, but they fixed. You had a loose port or something one time, didn't you? And Magewell took it back and fixed it for less than $100.
And let me show you. This is my video production.
Whoops, sorry about that.
It shows how my connections to my computer go. I also have a network that I'm building out for NDI.
Awesome. Yeah, for those of you that would like to see these better, because they're really kind of small in detail, Rich has sent them to me, and with his permission, we will post them in the Streaming Idiots group as comments to this video. And we'll post them in the Eastern Shore Broadcasting page on Facebook too, for those of you that are not members of the Streaming Idiots group. Yeah.
And this is how the content gets distributed.
So you are going to Facebook Live, you're going to YouTube, and you're going to, is that Twitter? Is that the big light blue bird?
Twitter Periscope.
Twitter Periscope, okay. Okay. And from YouTube, it's being embedded in the Procross website. It's being embedded in your website, livestreaming247.com. And what was the third thing? I can't quite make that out. It says any customer can embed it in their site. And then the fourth one I've got covered by a lower third. And I forgot how to get the lower third off. Let's see if that does it. Yeah, there we go. And so that goes to, where's the fourth one going?
Any streaming device that has YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Roku, Amazon,
Okay. Gotcha.
even game consoles.
Gotcha. All right. There you go. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, that's great.
And then let me show you a typical view. That's a typical view from on the beach where I broadcast.
Yeah, is that Destin or Pensacola?
Pensacola, I believe.
Yeah, the water is just too green, and the beach is too white to be anywhere else. That's awesome. So
there's one more too
cool.
I wanted to show.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. So this is my custom-made camera rig. Because I need to travel light, I use regular consumer cameras. I have the Canon or Sony camcorders.
Yeah.
And let me see. Hold on a second. Rotate. So this is a rig that I set up. Yeah, I put one of the HDMI monitors with a camera mount connected to the Sony camcorder. And it's all tied together. All this running off of that one cable that you saw earlier.
Right.
So one cable going to the HDMI SDI converter, and then I split the HDMI signal from the camera to the monitor and back to the SDI converter, so the camera op can have a bigger view.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
So what would you say you've spent on your kit that you're working with now?
Oh, I say about 10,000. 10,000 in the past, I say 5 years.
Yep. Yep. Not all at once, just a little bit here, a little bit there, and before you know it.
Yep. Here's a shot of Pennsylvania. We were right on the waterfront, and I don't know if you could see in that shot, there we got hundreds of people lining the shoreline.
That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool.
And then gets busy up in the tower.
I bet. Kenny is asking, do you have times where you have to do some external cooling?
And some pictures of the talent, including me.
There you go. I think he's turned my mic off.
And then here's the production inside the trailer. Or I'm not sure if they had the big rig or the trailer on this one. And of course, all powered by vMix.
There we go. All right. Very cool, Rich. Very cool.
I had the audio off for a couple of moments.
Oh, that's okay.
Is there anything I missed?
Well, Kenny was asking, are there occasions where you have to do any extra cooling on your system? Really hot days or environments where you have to add cooling?
Funny that you ask. So I did a broadcast in Arizona, a Utah border. The outside temperature was 112 degrees Fahrenheit. We were broadcasting out, and my Wi-Fi device, my mobile hotspot, got really hot to the point where I was dropping packets. So I literally had to cover it with ice to cool it down to get to a decent upload speed.
Oh my goodness. But that wasn't the PC. That was just a little MiFi. Yeah, gotcha.
The little MiFi, yes. I had to trace where I was dropping packets, and I traced it back to the MiFi device that was getting too hot, and it wasn't processing the signal sufficiently.
Oh, yeah.
I had another trouble with my computer itself, but I stuck a fan to air cool it on the back of the computer.
Yep. Yep. Air is your friend. There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Very impressive. What else you got?
So this shot here is the DJI transmitter, if you see it. And if you go to the bottom of the screen, there's an HDMI out. And that's where I get the signal for the drone shot.
Aha, okay. Okay, that's cool. And what's the latency on the drone video?
Oh, I say about eighth of a second.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Latency is really low for some reason.
So that would be about
Gacinoci
125 milliseconds.
Yeah.
So we're talking, 4 frames.
Yep.
But it's not like you're trying to sync up with any audio. And it's not like you're doing a side-by-side split shot that you have to sync with anything. So
Correct.
4 frames is nothing. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep. I also started, this is my SDI rig sideways. I mean, sorry, not SDI, then the Spark rig. Let me see if I can fix.
Yeah, there we go. And how are you powering all that?
I'm powering this with a 12-volt battery pack I got from Amazon. It was about $30.
Okay.
And it was 12-volt out with one USB 5-volt out. So I can power my Canon and the Spark with the same battery pack.
So the Canon gets powered by the USB power and the Spark by the 12-volt port, right?
Yeah, all in the same power pack.
That's cool. And you carry that power pack in your duffel bag?
Yes, it's in a Pelican case.
Sheesh. Cool. And what's the range on that Spark?
Tested it to one side of the football field to the other, goal post to goal post, and also across.
Okay.
Using a Ubiquiti network.
Okay. Okay. So in the range of 300 plus feet. I like it.
Yep. And
how will
building
you
out my Ubiquiti network.
Okay. That's awesome. Walk us through the diagram.
Let me see if I can set this bigger. So the source comes from the broadcast. Oh, let me back up here. So I get my internet signal from a MoFi hotspot. It's on the top where it says MoFi 4G LTE router. It's not a typical hotspot that you get from Verizon or AT&T. Actually, I had to get it from Amazon and got shipped from another part of the country, which most part is. But it's a router that has an input for a SIM chip, and it also has outputs with Ethernet and wireless. It actually pulls in signal much, much better than regular MiFi devices.
Okay.
So that connects to my Ubiquiti Edge router, and then that connects to my Ubiquiti 8-port switch, which has PoE.
Okay.
And then from there, I distribute the cameras wired or wirelessly and connect to my workstation.
Okay. Love it. I love it. That's awesome.
So I'm getting RTSP and NDI feeds back to my workflow, including a point-to-point bridge that I can use. I've only used it up to about 1,000 feet, but the point-to-point bridge can go up to 10 kilometers, I think. Yeah.
So that
10 miles.
Can you hear me, Rich?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so by using that point-to-point, that extends your spark for 10 miles.
A Spark or any RTSP camera. Anything that uses that you can convert your video to IP.
Right. Amazing. 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 So is your thought in some of these wide open venues like motocross to set up a ubiquity network that ranges all over the place, and then you can take a roving camera of just about anywhere you want?
Exactly. So as you know, the switch is PoE, so I can connect my access points to the switch locally within 25, 50 feet. And then for the other ubiquity access point, I set up a 12-volt battery with a converter to power PoE.
And
so I don't have to plug it in anywhere.
Does that run all day?
Up to 6 to 8 hours, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Man, I'm loving it.
So as you know, the access points uses, I forgot what protocol or what standard, but 24 volts. I think 24 volts.
Okay.
So I use a 24 volt transformer, an uplink transformer from 12 to 24, which fields my access point.
Right. Yeah. Tyler was talking about that last week when we did the show on PoE. That 24 volts was sort of an oddball in the PoE world, and that it was mostly by access points, routers, things in that field that tended to use it. That's cool. Now, do you have an electrical engineering background?
I went to electrical engineering, but got out and went to computer science instead.
And so naturally you ended up in the Army.
Yeah. Air Force, and then a stint with the Army Rangers.
Awesome. Awesome, baby. And what is this?
Oh, but this is a typical setup. That little colorful thing in the middle that you see is called a Newmark Orbit MIDI wireless. So I can grab that thing and actually use the MIDI functions wirelessly all on top of the announcing tower. I can switch cameras, graphics, audio, whatever I can do with the MIDI functions, I can do it wirelessly with that little device.
And so that would come into to vMix and you'd use shortcuts on that, right?
That's correct.
That's
just
cool.
like a regular MIDI function, but it's wireless.
Right. And when you say wireless, we're talking Bluetooth?
It's got its proprietary wireless function. It's comes with a little dongle.
It just has a USB dongle. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've used that up to about 100, 150 feet. So I actually put that on my arm and walk down the announcing towers and control the functions up on top using that wireless MIDI.
Yeah, I've often wondered about something like that, and you know, you can do the same thing kind of with your phone and the vMix web controller, but you don't really know where you are. You know, did it get the command you sent?
That's one of my other projects coming up this year.
Yeah. Well, I think Martin Sinclair is actually working on that too with vMix, with the web controller, to give you a little thumbnail image of whatever the shortcut is, and maybe even some tally lights to go with it. That's gonna be cool. All right, and this is again Pensacola Beach.
Yeah, Pensacola, Panama, and Desserton, Fort Walton is where we go. And that's for the Panhandle. We go down to Naples, Florida, down south for the World Championships.
Cool. Very cool. Very cool. And this has got to be somewhere in Michigan, maybe?
This is Naples.
Oh, this is Naples. So that's okay.
Naples,
So that's
Florida. Yep.
Southwest Florida. Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. The water's not quite as
That's
pretty
the actual
down there.
tower that fell. That water is a freshwater lake.
Okay. Okay. That explains that. And that's the tower that fell into
So
your
the
tower?
little that's the tower, one of 3 that fell.
Gee-many.
And that whole tower that you see, the main one, that moved over 2 feet during that storm I told you about.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Well, I was on top.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the most fun part right there. Gee whiz. Well, it's just like a giant sail.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. I love it.
I don't have the chat up, so I don't know what the questions are. I need to take off in about 5 or 10 minutes. I got a meeting coming up. I got to host.
Okay. Well, let's wind up then. Come on back on the video, and we'll let everybody say goodbye. But man, thank you so much for taking time to come out today, and thanks Ken to you in the background for helping out. And I can't wait to see what kind of cool stuff. Yeah, there it is. There's the shot. That's not the money shot, but that's the shot that tells you about the money shot. And here's Ken working the board, making it all happen. He's back there somewhere. But I do appreciate you guys this afternoon. There he is. All right. Very good. And I'll be seeing you guys in April at NAB at the Streaming Idiots meetup for sure, which is April 9th, Tuesday night of NAB. And we will catch you back then. Rich and Ken, thanks so much for taking time out today to be on the show. And we will see everybody. We'll see you next week, next Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern. Y'all take care.